Doug, hello.
Hello.
So Doug Johnson here. Doug, tell us. So you are in the you're in the counselor's corner. Oh, I'm in the corner.
Right.
But you're not Dr. Fountain.
I'm not Dr.
You're
Fountain.
Doug Johnson. So Doug, tell us. Welcome to the. I don't know. You're like the third guest now on this. So who are you?
So I'm here as a head elder. So
Okay.
to tell a little about myself here.
Yeah.
And so I'm go to the 8 o'clock service and been doing that for decades now.
Okay.
Not that I'm an early riser, but my wife is.
Okay.
And she trained my two boys to be early risers
Okay.
too. So they were in the 8 o'clock and have been there ever since.
Okay.
Been here since 1997, 98. We first moved here, and my eldest son was baptized out at the county building
Okay.
way back when, and then my other second son, Zach, was baptized at the now being renovated sanctuary.
Yeah.
So that's.
And Angie is your wife's name? I don't know.
Angie's my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And she helps out, at least in the time I've been here, with the slides as well.
she does the slides. She does some
Yeah.
reading.
Okay.
The boys at one point, when we first started doing audio-visual, were big, working the audio-visual room
Okay.
and pressing a button to advance the slides.
Yeah.
And it was just
Yeah.
that simple then.
Okay.
Kid could do it.
Yeah.
So so that's I've been a Lutheran for many, many years.
Okay.
Baptized Lutheran, confirmed Lutheran. My folks were Lutherans. My grandparents were Lutherans. So there's some of the whole elder and Lutheran
Right.
process just comes by tradition and birth. So.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it is. It's good to be with you here. I'm setting my timer because I told you this was going to be anywhere from 15 minutes to 2 hours. No, so
Closer to 15 minutes.
yeah. So you've been a member of the church here since the beginning of Faith VLC Lutheran Church.
Pretty much.
And you're the head elder. What does that mean? Because this is the third congregation I've served.
Yeah.
I kind of know what that means, but what does that mean here at Faith VLC?
Yeah. So the elders, I was first asked to be an elder about 7-8 years ago, something like that. And at the time, it was something to attend some meetings, and it's kind of a thing where the documents, the Constitution, the bylaws would say that the elders handle pastoral concerns, that they deal with spiritual matters of the congregation.
Yeah.
There are other things with member concerns, and there's specific things relative to worship services and communion assistance and music and readers that fall under the purview of the elders. It's really something that you as pastor and the staff handle most of those things. So it's just some of the things that will come up that are a question from the pastor as far as like pastor concerns. There wasn't much until recently with COVID, and so there was a lot of things that were questionable, that were different from the tradition in that time, and then some of the things relative to the changes in the staff that have happened and the call and all those things.
Well, from a pastoral standpoint, like previous congregations in here, I've appreciated from the standpoint of I am one who is under authority, ultimately of Jesus, but also just don't do whatever. And so there's an accountability that directly in terms of with the elders, as well as those support. And I appreciate the prayer and there are times when, and I realize I'm a painter, not a pointer. Like I got to talk through things. And so, hey, here's what I'm thinking. And so recently talking about with what would be the age of communing a child, and how do we do that in terms of with good order, but what's the rationale for this? So that would be an example as well.
That's a good example, and there are some things that there are different ways to do things, and different congregations will do things differently, and we try to just keep things a little bit the way they've been in the past, or try to have some history that this is the way things have been done before. Yeah. There's some historical value to the elders.
Right. Well, speaking of the things that we have done, are doing, will do, I mean, God knows all of that. Yep. One of the things that I think I've been excited about, we've talked about at the elders and then the church council and voted to do recently, is to engage with or partner with or be led by, I'm trying to think of the best word there, the Lutheran Church Extension Fund, which is part of our Lutheran Church in Missouri Synod. But not only do they do financial things, but then there are some, and in our case, Pastor Tom Egebrecht, who works for them, they can do some consulting services to help congregations get clarity
and clarity.
Clarity for ministry, or in this case, it's called not clarity for ministry clarity.
Ministry clarity.
Yeah, the ministry clarity process. So we're going to start that starting in the fall. So maybe tell, you and I have been talking through this. What does that mean?
Yeah, so that is something that we'll start in September. There are 4 parts to it.
Yeah.
The first is a visioning process that would run for the first months from September to November. And after that, there's a ministry planning, taking that vision or that guiding statement that's developed in the visioning process, and doing ministry planning from there into a campus master plan, or matching facilities to what the ministry plan is. And finally, then the financial plan. So this would run where the financial plan actually would end May, June of next year.
Yeah.
And there'd be a ministry clarity communication, is called, which would be at the congregational meeting in May of next year.
Yeah.
To do announce the results. So the visioning is probably the part that's going to be most visible for the congregation.
Yeah.
And so in September there will be some meetings with Tom Egerbrecht, and there'll be a visioning committee. I don't know exactly what we're going to call it. A visioning committee.
Leadership team.
Leadership team. A dozen people that will meet with Tom, and they will create a survey. So there'll be a congregational survey, and within the down what week that
it's about it's a 2-week period that would encompass 3 Sundays. Because part of this, and you were talking, so personal experience, so we did this at my last congregation in Indianapolis, and it was a real blessing, because there were times where I tried to do this, to do some of it on my own or lead internally, but boy, there was a benefit to having somebody who's kind of this trusted advisor, insider, outsider. So Tom Egerbrecht has been a parish pastor, but now has done this role, and he facilitated it really well. And with that survey, everybody in the congregation has opportunity to weigh in on what they think.
Yes, and part of that with the survey, there's actually a meeting, or there's a
vision event.
Right,
Yeah.
It's in week 6, and that's something that's a table and group discussion.
Yeah.
So it's open to anybody in the congregation to be part of that, and be part of that, creating the vision.
Yeah. So one of the things that we had talked about as I was trying to distill this down, so it is broadly, and Tom Egerbrecht would call it people-based with purpose. So I can, but it also, if and you're familiar with this, but it's basically getting to the why. Why is our congregation here? And broadly, the mission of the church is to seek and save the lost, make disciples of all nations, and that's true of a congregation in Melbourne, Florida, or Rockledge, or Madagascar.
Right.
But specifically, how has God gifted us here? Because there's a unique story that God has been doing here at Lutheran Church, not only for the previous 27 years, but also for today going forward, and then it becomes kind of the why. So we kind of know the what, we know maybe the how, but the why is not always as easy.
Right, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah,
that's not easy.
Yeah.
So in the LCF, they talk about how just giving the congregation its identity and purpose, and that's drives everything you do.
Yeah,
you say. So that's what'll be the thing to move forward with the rest of the process, with the ministry planning and the facilities planning and the rest of the pieces to it.
Well, really, and it's strategic, it's intentional. So this is what we're looking at in the fall, which goes into then the ministry planning, which is a build off of the why. It's a dynamic strategic plan. It says so we're narrowing this down, and then from that would okay, if this is where we're with respect to more specific ministries, that would tie into staffing. And then also tie into facilities. So the idea being then that facilities facilitate.
Right.
So the main goal is not to produce facilities, but a great tool to use for part of our ministry.
Right. And it's very timely. So we've been through a lot of changes. There's a lot of new things, a lot of new people, and it's a very good time to just take a look at things and see what can be done here within the church, as well as the community, and just extending that circle outside to Vieira, to Brevard County, and the rest of the area.
Yeah. So any other thoughts or things?
No, but
just on this.
This one, I'm excited about.
Okay.
I'm trying not to have a lot of preconceived notions about what's going to come of it, and I think that's the just let God surprise us with something that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I am too. I think God uses all things, and as we were talking a little bit ago, so it's like this is a collaborative, community, creative process. The idea, and now I'm just like about cultivating community, connection to Jesus, who doesn't change. He is the vine, we are the branches. Incidentally, that's going to be connection. I think is the National Lutheran Schools theme for 23-24. I was talking with Sue Allen, our preschool director, just a little bit ago about that. But it really is about, okay, here we are. We have this life in Christ that also we're free to share.
Right. Right, and I think there's something important here about it being something where the congregation has a unified vision, unified idea of here's what we are, here's what we do.
Yeah.
And it's very helpful.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, that's it. I mean, that's hard to, we didn't even get to 15 minutes.
No.
You want to talk about anything else? Nothing else to? No. You don't want to talk about bamboo cultivation or anything?
No, we're done.
Okay.
That's not half as interesting.
Right, well, good. Well, hey, thanks for letting me sit in the counselor's corner today.
You're welcome.
And appreciate you being willing as God places us together and being not only a brother in Christ, but in a lay leadership position as a head elder here. And look forward to seeing what God has in store.
Let's see.
Okay,
All right.
Good.
Thanks.